Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here we successfully complete our checkout list page, right? So we near about complete all that our design page. So that is our home page we have completed. There is a menu and also there is a product details page, right? So that is our product details page and every page is loaded without loading that page. And also I have created that about us, not that about us, we have created as a contact us. So that is our contact us page, which is totally fine, and then the privacy policy and then refund policy. So everything we have created. And also there is a logging page, that is our notification. So notification is also working. There is our wish list page. Everything is great. So we have created some of the design for our e-commerce project, right friends? So now we have to make it as a dynamic. So as I told you, everything will manage it from our admin. So for the admin, I have already created one of the Laravel project. Remember, if you go to our project, that is our e-commerce, right? And into this e-commerce, that is our user. And also you can see into the e-commerce folder I have created another part as a admin. So here before I have already installed one of the Laravel project. So now friend, we have to work in our this admin panel. That means that will be our admin portion, and here from to this position we will create some of those APIs and then we'll test all that APIs with this postman, and then we will actually consume all that APIs data and visible it in here, that is in our front end. So now I want to work for our backend. That means for the backend, I have already installed that XAMPP. In fundamental, I have already discussed about that things with you. So now there is our XAMPP and our Apache. Now that will be needed because all the data will be comes from our database, right? So our Apache is now started and MySQL is started. So now if you go to that local host, so into the local host, you can see right now I'm using that PHP version as a 7.4.11. So if you are using that PHP 8, it's totally fine. If you go to that my PHP my admin, so that is our database portions, right? So now I want to run our project. First of all, I want to run it. So that is our appropriate file location. I want to open the CMD. And then if you run with the Laravel project, what exactly you have to do? So here I have already run our front end with the npm start. So if you go, you can see there is npm start for run our this React project. So React front end, and now for the backend, here we have to run as a PHP artisan and then serve, right? If you now click as a PHP artisan serve, so now it will be give our server link. So you can see there is a development server link is this one for the Laravel. I simply copy it, and now before I simply created one of the fresh project, right? So one of the Laravel fresh project, and you can see there is a Laravel fresh project. So friend, here that will be our admin part and that will be our front end part. Okay, so everything will manage it from our backend. So for the backend, I want to do, I didn't install that authentication system. So now I want to create that authentication system for the Laravel project. So if you go to that Laravel official website, so into the Laravel official website, if you go to the documentation, I want to install for the authentication. I want to install another package. If you go to that package, you can install that Breeze. You can also use that Passport. I have already discussed about that things with you. And now better I want to use that JDStream. If you go to that JDStream, into the JDStream, I want to install it. So if you want to install it, so there is the installation. Into the installation, first of all, we have to run this composer required Laravel JDStream. I copy it. Now go to our project here, right? So now I want to install that authentication system. So before authentication install it, I want to take it in our sublink text editor. So our backend Laravel project I will run with this sublink text editor, and our front end React project I will run with the this visual code editor. Okay, so then that will be better. So now I want to take our project in here, which is totally fine. And here by default they have some of the database. I hope you already remember that part. In fundamental I have already discussed about that things with you. When you install that Laravel project, by default it's give you some of the database. So that is all that our migration stable, right? So now I want to install that our JDStream. I copy it. So now if you want to access it, first of all you have to go there our project. Into this project I simply run as a CMD, and that is our appropriate file location. So now first of all, I'm going to install that composer required Laravel JD stream. Now click as a enter. It will be downloaded all that file from the internet, and it will be saved in our this project. Okay, so friend, it's may take little time. Okay, so it will take little time. Better when it will be done, then I will come back again. So friend, here you can see our JD stream is now successfully installed. Okay, so our JD stream is now successfully installed. So now I also want to install that liveware. So I will not work with the liveware, but I want to install it. I simply copy the PHP artisan JD stream install liveware. I want to install it also. So here after this, okay, after this I want to install that PHP artisan JD stream install liveware. Here also it may take little time, so better when it will be done, then I will come back again. So friend, you can see it's now successfully also installed that Laravel liveware, which is totally fine. And after that I want to install that Laravel scaffolding install successfully. Now there is a please execute that npm install and then npm run dev. I copy it. Okay, I simply copy that npm install npm run dev. Here I paste it. Now I have to also install it. So for install that npm, as I told you before, you have to install that Node.js. So I have already installed that Node.js in my system. So now I simply run it. So that's all you have to do. It may also take little time. Better when it will be done, then I'll come back again. So here you can see friend, there is also successfully installed and compiled successfully and build. There is a Laravel mixed build successfully. Okay, so that means everything is great. Everything is great in here. And now I want to do, if you now go to your project, that means our project, into this project area. Now if you click as a refresh, so now it will be show some of the errors because of all I didn't create any database, right? So now we have to create some of the database. So if you want to create this database, simply go to your local host, and to this local host there is a PHP my admin. And now if you go to the database, so that is all my database. So now I'm going to create another new database. I name it here. So that is our database name, and now that is our this type as a general CI. I name it as a API e-commerce or ecom. Okay, I name it as a API ecom. That means the API related one of the e-commerce project. So I name it as a API ecom. Now click as a create. That's it. Our database is now created successfully. So after creating the database, what exactly you have to do? We have to also configure this database to our Laravel project. So that is our Laravel project. Into this Laravel project, they have one of the .env file. Remember, in fundamental, I have already covered it. I hope you understand that part very easily. So that is our .env, and here that is our DB connection as a MySQL host, and the port name, the database name, and then the username and the password. So our database I have created the database name as a API, okay, API ecom. So I copy it, and then that will be our database name. And in my local host, my username as a root, and password I don't have any password. So if it depends on your actually XAMPP, what type of configuration you have done. Like if you want to also check it, simply go to your main server position, and here there is an account, that is a user accounts, and in the user accounts you can see there is a username by default as a root, and password there have no password. Okay, so that means everything is great. Now I want to go back our database, and I have created that API ecom. So that is our database name, right? So now everything is great. So our database is API ecom, the username, and the password there have no password. That's it. Now click as a save all. So now I simply click it as a save all. Our server is now running. Okay, and that is our server is now running with the PHP artisan serve, and also here I have done it. Everything is great. So now I want to migrate it. So okay, so if you go to now here, there is your database and the migration. So you can see they have when you install that JD stream, so they have some of the another table is added in migrations area. So now I want to migrate all the database table in our this database area. So if you want to do that work, simply, and that is our appropriate file location, right? So that is our appropriate project. So into this project area, I want to run as a PHP artisan and migrate. Okay, PHP artisan migrate. So if you run it with the PHP artisan migrate, it will be migrate all that our database table. You can see all the database table is now successfully migrated. Perfect. So now if you go click as a refresh, you can see there is all that our default database table is now successfully added in our this database area. So now our project should be run and it will be ready with our authentication. Now click as a refresh. Yes, our project is now running and you can see our authentication is ready-made. Authentication is ready as a logging and the register. So if you go to that logging page, so that is our logging page, and also if you go to that register, so that is our register page, right? So now first of all, if you go to that user table, here I didn't have any user, so now I want to better register one of the user. So into this position I want to name it as a Kazi Aryan, okay, and then email address I make it as a admin@gmail.com, and then password I make it as a udemy12345 and udemy12345. So this type of one of the new user I want to create. Now click as a register. Yes, you can see now I am successfully logging, and also it display the name as a Kaziarian. There is a profile and the logout portion. So friend, everything will be changed. Okay, so here we will actually install another theme for the admins. From to the admin we have to manage total our font inside. Okay, so a lot of the things so I will do in here. So now you can see there's a profile, there is a profile information, there's a name, the email. If you want to change it, you can change it. There is an update password. So we'll create all the things. Okay, so we'll customize everything. We'll totally change it. Only we'll take some of the references from our default one. So here you can see there is a profile is not visible. If you want to visible that profile, a lot of students actually ask me about it. It's simple work. Like when you install that JD stream, then by default it's created some of the file. Okay, it's created some of the file. If you go to right now as a config, into the config area there is a JD stream. Okay, and if you go to the JD stream, into the JD stream, here you can see there is a features as a profile, photos, features as a APIs, and the terms and privacy policy. Now I want to make it as a open. So now that is activated. By default that is actually noted. Now click as a save all. So now that should be display here. Now click as a refresh. Yeah, you can see it's display perfectly. So friend, don't worry about it. Say here I will remove everything, or we'll use some of the custom admin panel. So from the admin panel we'll manage all the things for our font. Okay, that means here everything is great. So that will be our backend. So right now we don't need this. I close it. So that is our database, and that is our backend, and that is our font. So friend, now our work is we have to create some of the APIs. Okay, so we have to create some, cause that is one of the single page application. So we have to create some of the APIs. We have to test all that APIs with the Postman, and then we'll consume all the data and visible it in here. Okay, and also here you have to understand one part in fundamental. I have already discussed about that things with you. Here when you create some of the APIs, if you go to that route, so they have the two route. One is the API and the web. So in our web related everything, that means in our admin panel, or we will manage all that our route in our web, and all that API related every route I will create in our this API.php. So how can working with this, how can create some of the APIs, how can get that APIs data. So first of all I will actually start at very basic, then step by step we'll go more deep, because that is one of the advanced level projects. So into the e-commerce project area we have to create a lot of the APIs. So step by step friend, everything will be more clear to you. So in our next video, first of all we'll create some of the APIs, and then we'll check it with the Postman. So how can complete this procedure. In our next video I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.